Nothing in this podcast is intended as investment advice, and the people in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy any investment based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Hello and welcome to the Midweek Takeaway. Today we're joined by Zach Meir, CEO of Lift Global Ventures. Welcome, Zach. How's things, my friend?
Things are good. We're over the line and we're obviously very happy. We've had a few sort of bumps in the road with Omicron and Ukraine and things like that, but we're there and we're ready to go.
Yeah, so the announcement came, as you say, just for the listeners who maybe not know what we're talking about, going straight in, obviously, the announcement of application for admission to the AQUIS growth market for Lift Global Ventures, an enterprise company seeking acquisition or investment opportunities within the financial, media and technology industries. This is it's your baby, really, and obviously it's been going on it feels like it's been going on since probably longer than the COVID pandemic so far. I mean, but finally it's over the line and you've got a listing date, right?
Yes. I mean, I think in a way, actually, the delay worked in our favor because I wouldn't really want it to be on the market at the end of November when Omicron was announced. I wouldn't really want to be on the market when Putin invaded Ukraine. So the market's in a better place now. It's the same price or higher than it was before Ukraine. And we've got lots of things to do. This is not just like a sort of flash in the pan. I've been in this area for 30 years as a broker, as a journalist, and writing for financial websites and doing all the interviews with CEOs and all the other stuff that I'm sure you're aware of, and you're doing that yourself now as well. So it was just trying to pick the right time to maximize value and to get into this area. So
listing towards the end of the month, I think that's like the final trading day of of this calendar month. Obviously, we've got the short May Day bank holiday weekend. So, you're listing effectively on the final day before a bank holiday. Listing the IPO price around 3p with a valuation of 2.7 million and about 1.7 million cash. So do you think with a 1 million enterprise in this space, in this kind of fintech and IR PR space, that you're set to hit the ground running in terms of evaluation?
Well, we raised 2 million in total, which is it's not a vast amount of money, but I think it's enough to get involved with businesses which are cash generative, which is what we're looking for. Businesses which have got great growth potential, as we've seen since the pandemic. There's a lot of, especially in the digital space, and digital PR has really grown because people can get out and about, and I think that's now here to stay. We're going to take advantage of that, hopefully. And obviously the fintech area is also a high growth area. There's been stories that even with the recent pullback in US tech stocks, this area is still very hot, and it's going to be hot because the technology is hot, and people are online, and that's the way the market's going.
I mean, we've noticed as well that obviously the retail investor, the mechanisms and, as you say, social media element of things, you've got the Telegram element, the Twitter element, it's all very much changed compared to the old fashioned PR thing. So it's, from an IR point of view, it's very much online, it's very much social media driven, all the aspects we've said. So do you think now is the right, you're coming to market at the right time where the demand is much higher in this space for retail? Do you think that's the right time to come to market?
I think it's the right time. I think I think if anybody's listening to this particular podcast, they know the effect of social media, they know the effect of how good analysis online, how that works in terms of investment opportunities. The roast has been involved in Ben's Creek and other multi-bagging situations, and I think it's just that serious way of looking at the market and analysing the market, which really has transformed the way that people invest.
Sure. So I guess moving forward now, looking at, not obviously pointing you to any kind of roadmap events, but are you kind of ready to, once things get listed, to move forward and obviously looking forward to, I guess, to steering the company and building the value for shareholders and obviously loyal holders who've come in on the IPO? Are you really sort of like chomping at the bit, ready to go?
Yeah, we're very much ready to go. We've had, as I was hinting at, I've had a 30-year lead in terms of working out the strategy and getting things right. And the landscape, I think, is perfect for Lift now with the digital side of investment and the way people are looking at market online. And it's a disruptive type of company wants to, get in there with high margins, invest in businesses with good revenues. It's not the blue sky stuff. It's actually, the boots on the ground. And that's what we're going to look at.
So, Zach, when you talk about high revenues, what are you talking about? 20, 30, 40% profit margins, or what are we talking about?
I think that, one of the big things in the tech space has been, the SaaS model, recurring revenues. You have a template in place which, clients buy into. The margins tend to be very high. And it's not 20, 30%. It tends to be sort of 70, 80%. And that's what we're looking for, really. So to buy into businesses which are high margin businesses. And I think that's something which hasn't been really addressed, before. A lot of it's blue sky. A lot of it's sort of, we'll try and get into an area and hope that we can, have a land grab and everything else. I think this is about actually investing into companies which have already had and have already got their share of the market. And because I know the lay of the land in my area, which is, from broking to financial journalism, I think I can make the judgments for Lift, which will give the best investments.
And what sort of investors have you attracted to the IPO?
I think the good thing about it is it's almost like, say, friends and family, but it's people who are professional in this area, professional brokers, professional investors. And that's really been, it's almost been like a pat on the back that they've seen the opportunity and they get it. And the challenge and I suppose the privilege really for Lift is to be able to spread that message that, we're backed by people who understand the space, and we have their blessing to go forward and to really expand the financial part of what Lift is investing in.
We better declare at this point we've also invested in the IPO as Roast PR.
So obviously a thing or two about the markets and the way the markets work, and that it's not surprising to me or probably anyone that you've invested in Lift because you see the opportunity, and I think it's sometimes you can be too early to the party, sometimes you're too late, but I think this is exactly the right time, and I'm sure Lift will go well because of the kind of shareholder register that we have, and also the opportunities that we have because we speak to those people and we listen to what they say.
Yeah, no, we've certainly seen, myself and Phil seen in starting Roast PR that there is an opportunity, let's say, in the market because things are changing, the way people want information and the way people and even the way the companies have to disseminate their information, because basically the old press and a lot of the brokers who used to follow these companies no longer do, and they cannot. I think MiFID II didn't do any good to it in terms of the European finance industry and acts that basically meant that a lot of these companies dropped all of the small caps. So yeah, I think there's a big gap in the market there for small cap businesses to do IRPR, fintech, as you say, in terms of finance and all those type of things that are done in a different way.
Yeah, I think the frightening thing was there was an article just the other week where the statistic is like 1 in 4 people have actually invested in crypto, which is actually much more than in the stock market. So, the fintech area is moving very, very quickly. And it's almost as if the marketing of the crypto space has been better than the stock market space, and I think that's something that the Roast has redressed, and it's done well in that. You've become like the top gear of the stock market, with the banter and the discussion and everything else, and I think that's the kind of thing that people are now looking to have a different way of looking at the market. And the people who look at the market differently and give that proper analysis, that creates the value, and those are the opportunities that Lift's looking for.
Plans to list on April 29th. And for any listeners who may be interested in taking part in the IPO, obviously, please get in contact with either Zach or ourselves at admin@thesundayroast.net. Do you want to just talk through the capital structure really quickly again, Zach, of how it will work with in terms of people coming in on the IPO as opposed to buying on the opening day, for instance, the warrant aspect?
Well, I think that you would be in at 3p, where there's for people who buy the IPO. They're in at 3p with a 1/3 warrant at 6p. So you've got a bit of an advantage over people who are just buying in the market openly, like say on day one. So I think that's a sort of a fair advantage that you have in terms of going just like a couple of weeks earlier. So that should be something which gives added impetus to getting involved. And, I think that hopefully we'll get off to a good start in the market. There's been quite a decent build up. And I think that just the fact that we've done this, we've raised the 2 million under difficult conditions, I think is a positive for Lift, and hopefully will be a positive for the share price.
Without doubt, there's going to be demand for the stock when it comes onto the market. And secondly, having seen a lot of the bigger shareholders, they're not going to be selling. So the reality is we're going to wait. You're in a SPAC. We're going to see what's going to happen. So there should be some momentum, I think, initially, and then hopefully you can start to announce the type of things that you're going to do. And we'll see where we go.
Yeah, I think the sticky hands thing is quite important, and that I know most of the investors by name. It's sort of the culmination of being in the business for so long that just sort of say, well, do you like this idea? And they say, yeah, I like this idea. I'll do it. The high net worth, they're professional investors, and most of the shareholder register is like that. And that's it's sort of validation of the concept, and also just people realize that the digital side and the way that we're going with the stock market and communication and everything else is just it's totally online, and that's where we are now.
Zach Meir, CEO of Lift Global Ventures, thanks very much for your time, and we wish you all the best with your listing.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Kevin, and thank you, Phil.
This podcast was brought to you by Roast PR Limited. If you would like to appear on a future episode of The Sunday Roast, please email admin@thesundayroast.net.